Hi everybody, Dale Pendragon. We're going to, in this video, cover the unboxing and setup of the Kidoodle MiniBox A1 3D printer. It is coming to market in the near future, and it's kind of designed and focused for kids. Now, obviously it has a lot of safety features obviously in mind, and it's supposed to be very simple and easy to set up. So after speaking with my lovely wife Helen, we decided, because she has no 3D printing experience, this might be a great opportunity to introduce her to 3D printing firsthand and actually get her hands in on it. Obviously, with that in mind, if it's as simple to set up and get a 3D print completed, then it should, I would think, be just as easy for an adult who has had no 3D printing experience but has safety concerns, obviously, regarding the machine. So obviously this will test all those aspects of it, after which I'll do a follow-up video that will go over more in fine detail some of the settings and obviously the features and what it can do and what it can't do, and just go from there. Okay, well, I've recorded this one, so obviously with a different camera than the one I'm going to use for that. Apologies in advance. Obviously I'm not going to say that it's the greatest of quality video to start, but it will get better because I'll be using the other camera for the rest. So here we go, unboxing and setting up the Kidoodle MiniBox A1. Okay, it's childproof.
The box is childproof.
There we go. You hand me anything that needs to be handed. Okay. I'll just set this up.
User guide.
Obviously we have our little dog Dexter in. He's supervising us. He doesn't trust us.
Power cable.
Yeah, and we've got a power plug down here, so I can hand that. That's one of the spools.
Spool of filament.
Yeah.
Okay, not too sure what that is.
These are the tool packs. This obviously comes with a set of typical tools. And it looks like there might be a USB stick in there. Right there.
A stick of, I can only assume, is Pritt Stick.
Yes, it is. This is glue stick in case you need to improve the adhesion of the bed.
Okey-dokey.
That is the build sheet.
That's a very small build sheet.
It is a very small build sheet. Okay, you'll hand me that. Now, obviously this is a little piece of PTFE which we may or may not need, depending on what the instructions say.
And then we have...
I'll hold the box. There we go. Nice little tiny printer. Nothing else in the box. Put this over here, out of the way.
This looks like one of those kiddie bake ovens.
Yeah, doesn't it? You know, well, we're going to be baking plastic. Okay, I think I can see now where they're going to put part of that. Yeah. Yep. Just hand me that. I'll put them over here. Yeah.
So here we have a nice little orange Kidoodle. It's...
Yeah, there's some extra packing to protect the insides. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
No, thank you. Oops. That's in there.
There's another, looks like there's
another piece in there as well.
Do you think we're going to need a torch? So we can see
I
up in there.
brought my phone up with me.
Okay. Yep, no problem. Oh, I see what they did. Yep, okay.
So.
Yep. And obviously I'll show the rest of this in another video so you can get the up close. This is just a, how do you get it unboxed and set up?
So.
Instruction manual.
I have the instruction manual. Printing bed power adapter, 250 grams of filament, tweezers, platform glue, USB drive, paper level.
This is where the tweezers are. That's where these are, in this little baggie. Yeah.
Unbox the printer from the colour box, remove the adhesive sticker,
Yeah.
And extract the protective tape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a piece of tape up in there that I can't see?
I don't know. I'll have a look in a minute.
Oh, they're talking about here. Yeah.
Open the
one
safety
you already
door
got.
and retrieve protective cotton blocks numbered 1, 2,
Yep.
and 3 respectively.
There we go. Yeah.
Flip the printer over and open the rear cover.
Oh, okay. Didn't expect that one. Is there a cover on the back?
There is.
Oh, so there is. Yes.
I need.
Looks like a little. No. Looks like there's a little thumb thing. Unless you need to use these tools to pry it, because it's probably latched, like a latch thing here.
Flip the printer over and open the rear cover.
Okay.
I see why. There's cotton blocks in there as well.
Yeah, that does not surprise me. Let me get these tools open for you, lad.
I was just waiting. I was just having a look to see if there's any screws, but there's
no. But it looks like they have actually included a place to put screws, so you can secure the rear of the printer, so it keeps kids' fingers out.
Yeah, but there's.
Will that let you do it with the back end of them and pry it? It's probably like a latch thing. No? Okay, let's just see.
Oh, definitely kid proof.
Oh, I see. I can just about, there we go.
That's going to break it.
I can feel a latch. Hold on. Let me see the front of this, because I should be able to see that from the front.
What's that thing on the side?
That's a little tray for your tools, from the looks of it.
Okay.
I'm just going to look through and see if I'm right about that.
But it says, flip the printer over and
which would
open
be,
the rear door.
Yeah, and I suspect that... Do they say anything about removing a bolt or not?
Nope.
Okay, let me try getting this.
See that?
That's a USB stick. Oh, I see. Look.
All right. Okay.
There's what it is. You have to. Okay, so that's one of those challengers. Obviously, right here. There we go. As you can see, there's a little tab here. You have to press in on that, and then it will open up as such. So there we go. Right. All right. So that's
and then
loose.
take out the blocks.
Yeah. Here's your tool back. Okay.
So that's that.
And then probably replace the back panel, I'm guessing.
Then remove the cotton blocks numbered 4 and 5 respectively. Close the rear cover to complete unboxing.
Yes.
Oops. And this is why I don't touch anything technical.
Now I see what the PTFE tube's for as well.
Oh,
very clever.
Because I haven't got a clue. Right. External light box top cover, blah 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 blah. Let's get this set up. Printer assembly.
Yep.
Filament rack assembly. Insert the filament rack downwards, which is that one.
Yep. There's a little, looked like there was a little thing on the back.
Is it that one? Or is it one of them?
Now I believe that's going to hold the little spool.
So,
Yep. There we go.
that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
After packaging, the packaging comes with a material rack capable of holding 250 grams. Blah 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 blah. Insert one end of the PTFE tube into the inlet.
Which is that blue thing,
Which is
yeah.
that one there.
Yep.
Insert the other end of the PTFE tube
Now, I think that's where this
into the nozzle.
Which, obviously, this would need to come out to do that. Did they say anything about lifting the lid?
No.
Oh, yeah, they do.
No,
Look,
no.
picture.
It says there.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yet they showed it here, they just didn't show it there. Okay, that's interesting.
I'm doing a step by step.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It looks like it has the same latching kind of mechanism, but without the little tab. Go ahead and do that again.
I don't want to...
No, lift up on it. Get my thumbnail under it. Okay, time to take the closer inspection from the bottom side. Oh, I see.
No.
How did they expect to do that? Oh, I see. Okay, so what they've done, I'm just going to show it in here. They've made some twist locks that you cannot do from the outside. That keeps a child from getting their fingers down in from the top. Yeah? So you have to kind of reach in and twist them. I'll show.
Ah,
that's what we couldn't see. So that's obviously a safety feature, but they probably should have mentioned that in the manual.
It would have been good.
Yes. Because obviously it sounds like the parent is going to be setting these up.
Insert into that
now,
one.
that will need to go through that slot for when it goes back in.
Right.
Latches will be toward the forward.
So that goes in there.
Yeah, and there's a little hot end down in there.
Oh, right there.
Yep. Just push it down nice and firm, right all the way as far as it'll go.
That's it.
Nice and down all the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you have to reach up underneath to the top of the lid. If you need to lift the printer out of view, that's fine.
No, I've got it.
And it's just obviously so that they twist back where the little points are facing toward the front of the printer. Does that feel right? Nice and okay,
yeah,
we're nice and secure now. Good stuff. I'm gonna, while you're doing that, I'm gonna hit the camera and get this power cable ready.
Open the safety door.
Mm-hmm. That's that one.
Open the cover. So it's a PTFE through.
This is what they were saying. Yeah. So they did mention it.
Yeah.
After all, it was just further step over. Okay.
Loading filament. Take out the supplied filament and trim the head. Oh, everybody scissors.
Now, that's a question. Let me have a look here. They have now. What did they say to trim it with?
Doesn't.
Right. Okay. So what I'm going to get, I'm going to go in my office for a moment, grab my diagonal cutters. Obviously, that's not. There we go. And you need some scissors.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some little scissors. If the parent is using 3D printers themselves, obviously diagonal cutters is the usual tool, but a pair of scissors should be fine for this.
Doesn't say anything about drying the filament either.
No, they should be pre-dried, obviously from the factory.
Well, it has got desiccant in it.
Yep, and obviously they put the desiccant to try and preserve that during transit. If you're a parent that has a 3D printer already, I think most of us know, you get a new spool, it's not necessarily guaranteed dry. It would maybe be advisable to go ahead and dry some of the filament. Now that little tag is just for securing the end of the filament when you're done and you're putting it away.
Prevent filament tangling. Yep. Attach it securely to the spool with the filament strip.
Yep, and there should be a little black clip there. There it is. Yep, and that goes on the end of the filament when you're putting it away to keep it from unspooling. Mm-hmm. There's the thing. You should be able to, yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to let you cut it at 45 degree angle because my angles aren't very good.
Alright, so let me see the scissors, just in case we have a parent that does not have a 3D printing. Also, I'll note, it says that this is high-speed PLA. It has a range of temperatures. I'll go over this at a later stage, obviously, but just so you can see what kind of filament's being used, or the type. Now, when they say 45 degrees, but literally it's about like this. It doesn't have to be a steep angle. What you're wanting is like a little, let me just, yeah, that broke off right at the bend. There we go. Ooh, sorry, dog. Little Dexter. Okay, so what we're looking for is like a little point, about like that, because obviously that helps it go through the various connectors easily as you're feeding the filament in. Here you go, love.
Okay.
And just hang on to it because it likes to be springy.
So it says, hang the filament on the filament rack. Okie dokie. Like so.
I think it's the other way.
Is it? Let's go that way then.
Yeah. So that goes up
And
and
then
under. Yes.
that goes into.
Yeah.
Push the filament forward until they can no longer advance.
Yes. That means it'll be at the hot end. I'll grab something here.
Right, can't go any further.
Fantastic.
So
I probably should have opened the window. This room does get a little warmer than I expected.
fine. Power adapter.
Plug is down here, and I will give you that. Now you probably want to plug it into the printer end first, just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of figured that.
Oh, okay. Nice big block. Okay. Nice UK plug on that. That's very nice to see. Okay.
But it's no good to us if it had a US plug on it.
Yeah. Well, these printers will be shipped globally, and they should come with the respective adapter or plug for the region.
And then it says turn on.
Hey, we have Kidoodle.
Okay.
Just let it. It takes it a few moments to boot up.
Yeah, no. Please follow the
Okay.
instructions to complete the initialization settings.
Okay, so bottom one looks to be
English.
English. Yeah. Okay, set up initial print settings as instructed.
Ooh.
It's doing a self-check. Says checking device health. Please wait. So it sounds like it's just checking all of the different sensors. Not yet. That's actually quite good because that means it's testing all of the different components. Yep, so bottom cooling works, model cooling works. So bottom cooling I assume is going to be
Temperature control
the
works.
hot end cooling in that. It clearly has other cooling for the board and so forth. Nozzle cooling, temperature control, heating, so the heater obviously is being tested, and of course the bed. Okay.
Select, right, so
Just
next.
follow the guide there. Connect to Wi-Fi. Let me go ahead.
Nest.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do this part. Obviously, because we don't want to be putting the Wi-Fi password out there. So there's actually another one. This one, because it's closer and it's up here. Oops. Oops. Very nice responsive screen, I might also add. Let me see if I remembered that correctly. Well, it's one of two, because that one I set up to work with all the little lights. Yeah, okay, I got that one wrong. Give me a second. Well...
Do it to our main one.
Huh?
Do it to the main one.
The signal up here is not that great for that, sadly. Now, one thing I'm noticing is that when the keyboard is up, you cannot see it. It kind of obstructs. but it does give you an option to see it after you press enter. There we go. Okay, so once you've connected to the Wi-Fi, it has a QR code. There's an app in the instructions that you would download. It's available for iPhone and Android. Now, at this point in time, it is available in the App Store. However, in Android, I have already looked into this. It downloads directly from their website. So from here, I'm going to, yes, it has that thing, yeah. That's why I'm describing here. It will download directly to your device. Now I'm going to switch to a different camera so I can use my phone to be able to show you that process.
I'm going to do it as well.
Okay, so this is the Kidoodle app when you download it. This is an Android phone, so obviously it downloads directly to the device. At this point, it would download directly from the website that it offers it. And because of that, you may be prompted to have your phone allow an installation of an app that did not come from the Play Store. I'm sure at later times the Play Store will have this app for you to download from there. Obviously they have some personal information use, so this is recommended probably for the parent to do. Yes, we'll do notifications. Okay, and there's our welcome to Kidoodle app, print hot models on demand. Alright, so what do we have from the next step on that instructions after the app's installation?
Alright, hang on a second, because they've done this slightly skew with.
Okay, I'm going. Oh, it says use the app to bind the device. Now, okay, binding probably wasn't a great word to use right off the bat. Because the phone app says connect device. So let's go ahead, and it's got a little bubble here. Obviously, let me see if I can get that to show. Come and connect the printer. So we're going to do that. Connection successful, apparently. View your printer. Okay, so that was an instruction. So now connect device. Looks like I need to create an account, so I need to do that. I'm just going to do that now. Okay, so obviously after registering account, there we go. It's sending another code of some kind. Please check verification code on your device. Okay, so it's probably trying to send it to the device, assuming it's still connected to the Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's still having a difficulty with that. Now, according to a friend of mine who also was benefited with the ability to test one of these, he was having this similar problem binding them.
Alright.
And this is what I'm getting at the moment. It sent a verification code to the printer. It says here, check the verification code on your device. A1, which is there. It obviously has not received it on the printer. Okay. So we may have to skip over this. This may be because it's still not in production. So these should technically work otherwise. So we're going to have to move forward unless you want to try that. Yep, while using the app.
Using the app.
Allow, yeah. And now connect device. Yep, now scan the code.
Yeah.
There we go. Now, we need to watch the screen of the Kidoodle so we can see if it gives a code on it. Let me just bypass this then. This is not working. Yeah, so the app is not currently working with the binding at the moment.
No verification.
Now, what this is doing, it looks like okay, so it says obviously hang filament on the rack when temperature reaches 250. That is heating up incredibly quick. So with that, I'm just going to get my other camera out so we can zoom in on that. Just trying to get the camera down on it, and then I'll go to record.
Oh, that made a little buzzing sound to let you know that it was...
Yep. Okay. So it's obviously said hang the filament on the rack when the temperature reaches 250. It has done so. So if you want to go ahead and... I think there's an on-screen instruction there to hit next. I'm just going to zoom in on the display while you're doing that. Okay. That you've done, yeah. You did that one during the instructions. Okay, let's see about that. Go select model. Maybe the child can actually do this from here. Oh, yes. You can apparently select some preset ones.
I can't even see what they are.
Okay, well, hey, turn it around where you can see it.
It tells you the time on them as well, which is good.
Yep, how long it should take to print that item. Now, did it say anywhere yet whether or not to put the build sheet on that yet? Oh, no, that's a spare one.
That's the spare.
There's one already on there, look.
Oh, right, okay.
Ah ha ha, bonus. That's a major bonus.
I don't want something that's going to take too long, obviously. That's quite funky though.
27S is 27 seconds.
That's 46 seconds.
That is insane. Okay.
So,
yep. If you want to go ahead and give it a try.
Alright, so
close the door. Yep. Oh, it brings up a bigger picture of it.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
And then print.
Okay, so here we go. Now printing. I'm going to see if this gimbal is worth its salt now.
Checking printer health.
Yeah, so it's checking the health of the printer, obviously. It has, obviously, that's our part cooling there that we can see through the front door. There's our little hot end over there. I'm guessing it's taking a moment to heat up the bed. There we go. It's homing the printer now. Okay, so there's it seeing where the Z-axis is. Okay, so first layer, I'm just trying to see if there's anything coming out yet. Well, there's some test filament happening that was obviously in it at the factory. I'm not seeing anything yet in the printer. So I'm going to pause this. We're going to see how it goes. Okay, after a little bit of troubleshooting, we found that it had not actually fed the filament in. With the step-by-step, they put the loading of the filament and initial purge, as per se, as a footnote. So it wasn't quite clear that that was the next step. We went into the settings. There is an option to feed filament into the printer, and it turns out that it does have a little poop tray, which is where it expends the purge, which is quite cool. Anyway, so we're going to do this again. Obviously, we're going to print a model, so I'm going to zoom in there where you can see that. There's the model being set up to be printed. And here we go. Now, obviously the picture will be a little distorted sheerly because there is the plastic door in the way. Now, obviously on the subsequent videos that I will be doing, I will be testing some of the safety features, like causing it to stop a print right in the middle. There's quite a complex belt system in the back of that, for the looks of that. I'm guessing that's obviously to help accommodate the size of this printer, so it's quite impressive. I'm not sure which kinematic system that's using, but that looks really cool. Okay, so it's now calibrating itself for the Z offset. And now it should be doing a purge line. And now we should be getting a first layer. And I can see some filament on the bed just a little bit. Looks like it is actually printing now.
Yeah, the PTFE tube's moving.
Yeah. And I can see some filament on the bed there. It doesn't want to focus as easy, but there it is. It is printing. So what we'll do is we'll come back to that, obviously in their estimated time. Based on this, I'd say once it gets the first layer, this is probably more like 27 minutes, not 27 seconds. But considering the size of the model, I'd say that's not doing too bad. First layer is looking really good, actually, because it doesn't look like it's too high, but it also is just enough that the bed grabs it. Okay, so we'll stop it there and we'll come back to it. Okay, a little bit of first layer action there. Just recording that for the purpose of seeing it. This was with no calibrations other than loading the filament. That is looking pretty smooth for a first layer with no calibrations. Obviously we'll be coming back to that in a bit. Okay, it's finished the first layer and now it's kicking into the higher speeds. I can feel the air coming out of the front vents, so that's quite fast. It's actually shaking the little table this is on, so TV table is probably not the greatest option. But that is definitely pretty impressive for a little printer. And it shows a picture obviously up here and time consumed already. Let's just see when it gets past that next layer. Wow, that is insanely moving fast. Okay, so obviously they don't want cooling on that next layer there, but that is definitely...
Whoa.
As you can see, that's moving quite fast, and I wanted to capture that sound, because a lot of people who know 3D printing will know the sound of a printer that's doing some high acceleration or movement. Definitely going to put this through some tests, obviously, to see if I can determine those speeds.
If you look at the top
Yeah.
as well, just there.
Yeah.
It'll tell you what layer it's on.
Yeah, this is layer 2 of 402. And it's at 0% of its total.
So it's not.
That is doing really well. And Helen's actually having to hold the table. This thing moves so hard and so fast, it's shaking the table. So I'm guessing that this is probably intended for a much more solid surface than a folding table. And it's already at layer 7. That is really going to town on that. It's now into the infill layer 27, 6% down of the print. That outer surface looks really good. So the finish is nice. Doesn't look like they used a skirt or anything else, but that is absolutely ripping that print up. So it does just as it should. It's sliced to slow down on the outer layers, you know, the outer perimeters, and then go to town on the infill. I can see now why they set this for 250, obviously on the nozzle temperature, because obviously at this speed, high-speed PLA will use that speed. That means they probably are pushing it in excess of 300, maybe 400 or more millimeters per second. They might even be taking it to the absolute limit of the printer, which is supposedly 600 millimeters. But obviously we'll see here. Okay, Helen pointed something out that I didn't notice right off myself. Not only does it tell you the percentage and the layer bouncing back and forth by that little octopus, but it colors in the model. It shows you what the model looks like, and as you can see, it's coloring it in to show you where it's at in the model. So that's actually pretty good. The time estimated, I think, was a little off because it said 27S. I figured that was a bit misleading, but we're already at 28 minutes, including heat up time and first layer. But it is definitely at that point in the model. There we go. Just to show how much kinetic speed this thing is pushing, you can see it's wobbling the table, but it's still handling it. So here we are coming up close to the end of the print. As you can see, it's filled in the color on the model on the screen, and it has started slowing down because it's doing smaller details. It's still holding good bed adhesion, so that's doing good. I think the layer count might be a little off, but I could be wrong, depending on what it used as a layer height. If this was 0.16, that might be possible, because it's already saying 305. But I don't think there's 100 layers left in that. We'll come back to it when it's done. Okay, looking at the model and looking at the percentage, I have a feeling this is about to finish. That or the display is well ahead of the model, but I'm suspecting it is about to finish this model. .333 of 402, and you can see the lines already above it, so maybe the image versus actual model needs adjustment a little bit, because now obviously it's above the model physically, so there's obviously a little buffering. Okay, I can pretty much tell this is about to finish. So yeah, it's now working on just that one. So each one of those is a layer, and there we go. So it has ejected the model. Let's go ahead and bring that.
Got a little bit of display. Little flags.
Yeah, and you can view the report. So this is the total time actually taken, the amount of filament used. So 1 hour, 6 minutes, 52 seconds from start to finish, and the dimensions of the model. Here's our little model. So if you want to go ahead and just lift that front little tab. Yeah, it's probably got a magnet. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Careful.
Ooh, it's
Okay,
got some
yep,
on
a
it.
little bit of stringing. I'm not surprised on that. Obviously sample filament sometimes is a little moist, but those are so thin that you can probably just whip those off with your finger or with a lighter. Now these are flexible beds, so flex the bed and it should pop off reasonably. There you go. And there you go.
There's some filament.
That's the purge. That's our little purge line.
But it's got a poop tray.
Yeah, well that's for when you're doing the other bit. Okay. So obviously to put this back in, it looks like it does have some alignment bits at the back that'll help you align the bed and get it perfectly within it. That's quite useful. And there we go. First print on the Kidoodle A1 MiniBox printer. And there's the model it printed. Ellen pointed out that there was a couple of little imperfections. That could be the seam. Looking at it through the camera a little bit, looks like maybe the seam where it came together. Obviously there's no information yet as to if this is running Marlin or something more proprietary, but that is actually not bad. Even looking at an angle, I'd say that was a 0.16 layer height from the look of that. But the speed at which it did it, I'm rather impressed. First layer looks like it did reasonably well. Let me see if I can get that to focus again. There we go. So there's a couple of spots obviously there where it might have been a little bit high. So Z offset probably does need a little bit of calibration. But it does look like it managed it enough to hold bed adhesion. And for a kid, obviously this should be more than sufficient, because what they're primarily going to be looking at is the outer finish of the model itself, and how neat it looks. Most people don't necessarily look at the bottom unless it's intended. But there we go. Just sat obviously having a little discussion as well that I'm going to include with Helen about what she thinks about this printer from a parent perspective. Now obviously Helen's had 2 children in her life already, and so I think this is a good opinion, taking in what a person might be thinking when looking at a printer like this for a young adult, probably anywhere between, you know, possibly under 6, as they said, with supervision, but maybe even into their teens. So yeah, go ahead.
I would say that a child under 10 would definitely need supervision for setting it up, unless they were very, very smart. But actual ease of use, so selecting models and like the actual interface of the thing is actually very, very good. Every model that we've looked at on the app seems to already be inbuilt into the printer itself.
Yeah.
So, and it's got a range of things. You've got education, you've got preschool, cartoon characters, things like that. It is a nice little, you know, thing to play with. But like I say, it's you would a smaller child would need supervision for this.
Okay. Well, there we go. Obviously,
And also the spelling.
Yeah, we did notice that idle probably needs a little correction, so that's going to get fed back.
And also the fact that the names of the things are actually still in Chinese, even though we selected English.
Yeah, so this is something that, because it's a pre-release item, in other words, it's not actually available for sale. Could be some of the reasons why some of these are showing up the way they are. I'm going to make a big assumption, but it is going to be part of my feedback to the company. Obviously, Kidoodle, with regard to the language setting versus what you see on the UI or user interface, for those that aren't familiar with that term. So, obviously, as said, it is a very simple to operate. Obviously, we have our home screen for just basic ones that have already been viewed, but these are the ones that are on the actual app. So these are downloading these from the internet, which obviously takes a moment to load. This will probably not load if you're not connected to the Wi-Fi, and skip that. Obviously you have USB, and then of course print history. Now you'll see here that there was a failed one. That's because when we first started this, it was not fully loaded on the filament. We had to go through an extra step to load the filament and let it purge. So very good. So even if your child obviously goes in and turns on the printer, prints something out when you're not home and you don't realize it, then obviously that'll be a history. You can say, oh, you've been using the printer when you weren't supposed to. So obviously there is some level of guidance there. Now I'm going to look into seeing whether or not the app also gives notifications when things are started, if and when I can get the printer to bind with the app, because that's going to be another question I'm sure parents are going to have. Am I going to get notifications of the status of the printer? What options do I have to control the printer? Obviously, if the child doesn't listen and decides to gain access to it when the parent is not available. And there's our basic front end for the first review, unboxing, and print of a first model. I will do a follow-up video, obviously with more in-depth of loading models and potentially slicing them. With the USB option, you may be able to slice your own models from the websites that your child has said, hey, can I have one of those? And be able to add it to the ability to print from this printer for them. Okay, and thank you for watching.